All right. We're just going to do a general kind of one-off. Talk about some things we've been into lately. Video games, music, movies, whatever. Just for fun. You were talking about some nerd stuff you've been...
Yeah. A majority of things I've been doing have been within the Marvel universe. And me being... I'm probably the... like more of a fanboy,
Especially
out
for,
of the
comics.
duo for us. Marvel had to go and do a thing and create probably just one of the best video games that's out right now. It's with Marvel Rivals, and it's probably the only game that's really kept me playing over and over again in a long time, and like online too.
Which it's just like Overwatch, right?
It's a 6v6
Hero shooter.
no roll queue. So you can you can have 6 DPS, 3 healers.
That was
3-3.
That was a really annoying thing coming back to Overwatch, because like when Overwatch was first a thing, I was obsessed with it. I had a copy of Overwatch before I had an Xbox, and I sank like hundreds and hundreds of hours into Overwatch, and then coming back to it after going away, the roll queue, I hated it because there was so many good comps you could run.
Yeah,
that were like unbeatable, but then you roll queue, and then you're stuck waiting. If you want to play a DPS, you're stuck waiting
forever. And that's like, so there's times where I like roll queue and times whenever I don't. And like at the start of Marvel Rivals, I hated that it wasn't there because you could never play anything you wanted to play. Mm-hmm. Like if you wanted to play damage, you either had to play with like a 6 DPS stack, which is bound to fail, or move off because nobody else would.
Yeah, you have to take on the role.
Yeah, the flex role, and it's getting better. Where especially like I've only been playing competitive.
That's the move. And then people, like you naturally fall into like what you're best at.
Yeah, and people will like I'll play DPS. I'm not the best DPS. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. I do way better as a strategist or in tank in those games, but every now and then I'm like, I'm not going to get better at DPS unless I play DPS in competitive. So I do like try to like queue, like lock really quick and hope that nobody else locks DPS so I don't flex off. But
yeah, that was my thing, was especially in Overwatch, I was really good at support. Mm-hmm. So like any of the support like healers, when I was doing competitive, that was my main. Like I would be fine with taking on the support role, but then like I really liked playing tank, and I liked playing DPS, but that was one of those things. It was the same thing. I was like, if I'm going to be good at any character, if I'm going to be a true flex, I need to understand how to play. But I would not go on competitive with DPS.
Yeah.
I would be like, that's quick play.
And the thing is like, that's the other thing I'm going to say too, though, about I think they need the roll queue for quick play in that game, because nobody will switch off in quick play. Like nobody's really jumping to do anything else. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to learn DPS, but you're still like, it doesn't give you a good tell if there's nobody there healing you whenever you're running away, if there's nobody there absorbing the damage and peeling for you whenever you're getting attacked. Like,
you know what would be fun?
What's that?
If they made like a system where you could vote someone out of a role, where it's like, because I think there's other games where it's like you could like vote to kick kind of things, where it's like, I don't know, X420 beef stoner is nominated to be kicked out of DPS role. And it's like, okay, yeah, if you get a majority, if you get more than, well, I guess it would have to be 3 because it's 6 people and then the 5 remaining, where it's like, yeah, you suck at DPS. You have to be something else.
Now you have to do something else.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to get out of talking less about the style of the game, but more about the game that I've been playing in general. Marvel Rival, they came out of the gates just like full force. Mm-hmm. They had 32 characters, I think, at launch, and in the first season they released 4. Wow. And I was sitting here looking at like Overwatch 2, which I will say this: I like Overwatch. I like the world that they've created, and it reminded me of they're basically a superhero team, and then the villains are in the game too, and it's like. They took the elements of things that I like from Marvel, put it into this game, of like, hey, there's this superhero team and you play as them. But then Marvel came out and they're like, oh, we took the things you love and made it an Overwatch game.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is a cool idea. I haven't bought into it just because I know it's free.
Yeah,
too.
it's free to play.
Is it cross-platform?
It's cross-platform. The only thing is we couldn't play competitive together. There's no cross-platform and competitive, but we could play quick play together.
Yeah, I've just been distracted with. I dug out my Xbox after like literally not playing it for years because I got a PlayStation. I was like, console wars are dumb. I'm just gonna play the thing that lets me play anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally dug out my Xbox again, so I've been like, I have Master Chief Collection on that, so I've been playing Halo 2.
I love that game.
And then if we're talking real nerd hours, I've gotten really into Pokemon Showdown.
That's were you showing me that recently?
Maybe.
That's the one where you can like pick any team.
Yeah, it's a battle simulator.
Yeah.
Where it's all online, which is it's crazy how Nintendo hasn't got
Shut
rid
it
of
down.
it. Yeah. But it's been around forever. But yeah, it's all the most nerdy things about Pokemon where it's like team comp, EV spreads, like all the types, like different type advantages, making sure you have type coverage, move sets, like you pick everything and you just play against other people on this battle simulator. I've been getting really into that. And I've been trying to get, I'm sure he wouldn't care, Cameron, the editor for Beam, I've been trying to get him involved. And he was like, I'm not that nerdy.
All right, go build a Gundam model.
Yeah. And I told him, I was like, tell me your favorite Pokemon. I will build you a team if it means you play with me. And he told me, and he just told me his favorite was Mudkip. And I was like, well, if I can use Swampert, then like, let's go. And like, I sat there and I was like, this is exactly how this would work. I was like, and he was like, this is too much. But
that's funny. I expected that to be something he would be like, oh, awesome.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get everybody. Garlic Hero, I've been trying to get him on it. Although he has a family, so he's a little busier. But yeah, it's consumed my life. I've been forced to take 20-minute lunches now at work. Where as before I would just do 10 minutes because I could get out earlier then. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this sucks. What am I going to do? I've just been playing Pokemon Showdown. Yeah. Which is like, I'm like, yes, finally I have something worth taking lunch for.
At least you found something that, exactly. It's not like you're just sitting there just like, bleh. Like I used a lot of my time at work to read on lunches and breaks, which I was like, I need to get back to that. Now it's starting to get nice out and I kind of just want to walk around.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And then you saw, speaking of Marvel, you were saying one of the only things you've probably seen more recently is the Brave New World.
Yeah, Captain America: Brave New World. And again, as a fanboy, I thought it was great. I
saw a lot of wavering opinions.
Yeah,
as someone who doesn't really care for that universe, it doesn't really mean much.
Taking some time after seeing it and kind of like thinking about it and reading some of things other people say, like I try not to be too easily swayed with my opinion on things. Like,
yes, you do.
Am I?
Yeah, you're very easily swayed.
How so?
So do you think you're easily swayed?
No.
Yes, you are.
Stop it. Shit, am I? But like I see some of the gripes people have with it. To me, it was like there's been so many times in Marvel movies where they try to make the character like every main character like a comedian and comic relief character, and I feel like that's kind of some of the stuff that they kind of like. It wasn't a very funny movie. The character himself isn't like he's not Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. He's not the Guardians of the Galaxy, which most of them are all hilarious. Like, yeah. But the interactions between the two main characters, which Anthony Mackie is Sam Wilson, and then I can't remember the actor's name. He plays his like sidekick in it.
And you got Harrison Ford.
Yeah, you have Harrison Ford as Red Hulk.
Yeah, Red Hulk.
But the new Joaquin Torres is the character's partner. It's not really a sidekick. He has like a partnership with him. They interact fun together, but like Sam Wilson isn't a comic relief character. He never was. And like, it's not going to be a funny movie like the rest of the Marvel movies, but I liked it. I still liked it. They did a good job. They didn't kill off any of the villains like they typically do in those movies.
Is it Danny Ramirez?
Yes. Danny Ramirez is Joaquin Torres. The biggest issue that I have with a lot of the superhero movies and comic book movies is they build this character development of the villain and then kill them. And it doesn't ever allow for a development for those villains to come back ever.
But that was Harrison Ford's character, right?
He's not the villain in it. There's a fight between Red Hulk and Captain America, but Harrison Ford's character is like manipulated into becoming the Red Hulk.
I thought he was the villain of the movie.
He plays the character he plays.
Is the character literally called Red Hulk?
Yeah. I mean, so they also just call him Ross. But there was already the Hulk, and then what happened, I don't remember how he becomes Red Hulk in the comics, but he gets manipulated by a character that they call the Leader, who is a gamma irradiated super intelligence. And he radiates his cells to be with gamma throughout the movie to become a Hulk. He comes out red instead of green for some reason. And then the character essentially he's just a Hulk. There's a bunch of different Hulks in the comics. Mm-hmm. She-Hulk, she's green. There's a red She-Hulk. There's Hulk, Red Hulk. But it's just a way to differentiate it.
Guys, we need a new character.
Yellow Hulk.
It's just like, I just imagine the animate or the cartoonist just sitting down and like their green Sharpie ran out. They're like, oh, I got red. And they have to go to their supervisor to like knock on the door and be like, hey, I got an idea for a new character, Red Hulk. And they're like, you did it again.
So I will say for the character of Hulk and like Bruce Banner, part of the whole reason that like Hulk is a thing is back to an episode we just recorded. Bruce Banner was traumatized by an abusive father throughout his life, and nobody, like everybody's like, there's no way he should have been able to survive the blast that caused his that caused him to become the Hulk. But the allegory is like split personalities of
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. Now, throughout the publication of Hulk, there's been different personas of Hulk also, where there's like a gray Hulk there, but it was always Bruce Banner turning into these different Hulks.
Are there animal Hulks?
No, there's like a monster Hulk, but
so there's different personas, but not different fursonas.
No, okay. That would be interesting.
Just making sure.
But at the start, whenever Red Hulk was first appearing, like I don't think he appeared alongside Hulk to begin with, if I remember correctly. But there could have been is this just a different iteration of the Hulk compared to it being a different person? Because, like I said, there was Gray Hulk, there was a character Joe Fixit. It was the Hulk's mob persona.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's one thing like I liked. I wish I liked comics more, because I think it's really interesting how they're willing to try different ideas with the same character. Like one of the ones that I've just never pulled the trigger on is the communist Superman.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
Red Sun.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, and like you could do a lot with that. But like, I don't know. I've just never pulled the trigger on it.
I have trouble reading DC. Like I've tried to from here and there. The biggest issue I have a lot of times is I don't find the characters as relatable. I heard somebody else comment one point where DC characters are gods trying to be humans, where Marvel characters or gods trying to be people, where Marvel characters are people who have the powers of gods.
So like
they're
Spider-Man.
They're like more relatable as a person and then they have these powers.
Okay.
Where the DC characters are trying to ground themselves, but since they are these like super powerful, like
So they're like Greek mythology
yeah,
as opposed to some other mythology.
yeah, yeah, one where they become the mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like I've always stuck like more with Marvel. I do read DC here and there, but Marvel's just always had it's captured my heart since I was a little kid watching all the cartoons.
I've seen a lot of movies as of recent. I've even gone to the theater a handful of times, and I will say this is a perfect segue. I hope that people are done with comic book movies soon.
They're not.
But like, man, I feel like Thunderbolts has to be the tipping point. And I feel like there's been already tipping points. Like, what was the one that flopped with Kumail Nanjiani?
Eternals.
I feel like that probably should have been some indicator. But like, man, I really hope Thunderbolts flops because I don't know.
I hope it doesn't because I like the character Winter Soldier a lot, and he's like the main.
Yeah, but from like an outsider's perspective, like it feels like that forced comic relief character, even though that actor's cool. But yeah, man, I'm just so like that was one of those, especially like Florence Pugh, like her character, like it's so like it'd be cool if we could be done with like the very nonchalant, like apathetic character.
Yeah,
like
the edgelordy kind of.
Yeah, which I'm looking at it from a perspective of someone who's not even into the comics, so like that's probably just her character. But like from a movie perspective, I'm like, man, I'm ready for this to be done. But
we have Thunderbolts coming out, Fantastic Four.
Oh
in
yeah,
June.
Is that
July.
James Gunn?
No, that's oh shit, who did it? James Gunn, I don't think is going to be making anything for Marvel anymore because he's a showrunner for DC.
I don't know what any of these things mean. He's doing Superman, right?
Yeah,
that will be cool.
I have faith in a lot of different things that James Gunn does in general.
Yeah, he's the only reason I've ever. Well, I like the Spider-Man movies because the Sam Raimi ones because they came out when I was a kid, and then the Dark Knight trilogy is. I think even beyond like being a comic book movie, those are just good movies. But James Gunn's the only reason like I care to really watch any kind of comic book movie at this point.
I think the new Fantastic Four movie is Matt Shakman, who's done. Yeah, he's the director. He's directed other Marvel movies, if I remember correctly.
He did
WandaVision.
Oh, he's done
Game of Thrones.
Always Sunny in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Fargo.
He did a lot of it. Well, at least 43 episodes of It's Always Sunny, so that's almost a quarter of their whole series. If the two newer Avengers movies that are slated really flop, they might pull it then. But I don't think they'll pull it. They'll end up rebooting or something.
They'll make $1 million.
Yeah.
They'll make they'll announce the new Avengers.
Which is a comic book title.
Yeah. Well, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doom.
So, and that's the thing, like what people really.
That's Fantastic Four.
Well, but it's so Doom's not going to be brought into the Fantastic Four movie. The villain in it's going to be Galactus, and I think Silver Surfer, like being the Herald, not technically a villain, but good person working for a villain. The Avengers Doomsday is what is going to bring Doctor Doom into it, because Doctor Doom was a villain just in general. He wasn't just Fantastic Four in the comics. He was originally their villain, but Avengers fought him. A bunch of different people fight him. And then they're doing, to wrap up the phase 2, it's going to be 2 Avengers films like what they did with phase 1, Infinity War and Endgame. So he will be Doctor Doom in that, but the whole phase 2 is all about multiversal and like multiple universes and everything. And me and Antonio from Beam Out Mainstream, we have a theory that we both agree is probably what's going to happen is the true killing off of Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel universe is going to be Spider-Man has to fight him. It's his mentor now turned villain. So
stay tuned.
Yeah. we'll see if that pans out. If phase two's finality of it flops, yeah, they'll just find a way to reboot.
And then give it 20 years and they'll bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I've seen every time I've gone to the theater recently, they've played that Thunderbolts trailer. Yeah, I guess I've seen 3 notable movies in theater. I saw the movie Companion, which I don't know. I must have mistaken it for something else because I don't even know what it was, but I thought so. Red Letter Media is like, I trust their opinion on almost everything. I really respect them. I think they're like similar to like how the older generation has like a Roger Ebert or what is it?
Ebert and Roper.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of where they sit for me. Like I just really respect their opinion, even if it at times differs. But I swear, Jay was talking about liking this film, and I thought it was horrible. Like it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I've never even heard of it.
And that's the thing is like I've been asking people like, have you seen anything about this movie? Have you heard about it? And no one I've talked to knows what it is. So I feel like I had to have just misheard or like misremembered something. But it's a movie about the guy from Novocaine, the Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
Yeah, Jack. He's in it, and it's about like robot, basically like AI robot companions, and it's this big, like, wacky. They try to make the robot kill somebody, and it's just so stupid. Like it doesn't work. Like it only works if you know absolutely zero about it going into it. I tend to not want to know anything about movies before I go see them, and I literally just looked up like, you know how like anytime it just has like a one sentence like what it's about, and it'll tell you it is about a robot lady, and it's like okay, and they spend like half the movie pretending she's not a robot, but you know she is, so it doesn't. It's just it's so ineffective. It's so dumb. It's like they're trying to hide the fact that she's a robot, but then like he's calling her beep boop, and like all these little like it like if you read even just the one sentence synopsis, like it's stupid. It's ineffective. It doesn't work. It's so bad. And you know that like car commercial song where it's just the boo thing song. It was like, you're my little boo thing. I don't give a who what you do or say.
Yeah.
They play that like they have like the dumbest like flashback to a party, and they play that twice, and 4 different characters are dancing to that song. So it's like, it's so dumb. It was so horrible.
I was trying to look at the guy who directed it's also the writer who made that. It's the first thing he's made in 7 years.
I wonder why.
The other thing he made was called My Dead Ex. Never heard of it, but he was a writer for the show Mr. Pickles on Adult Swim.
Oh.
It was about the
satanic dog.
Yeah. Blue Mountain State, he was a writer on.
I never watched that.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't, like, other than that, those are like the only 3 things that I've recognized.
Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, it wasn't even so bad it was good. It was just bad.
The IMDb, like, one-line thing just says, a weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin turns into chaos after it's revealed that one of the guests is not what they seem. Which actually makes it sound a bit more interesting than what yeah.
But if you go to like a movie website, like where if you go to buy tickets,
yeah,
it tells you she's a robot. And like, spoiler alert, she's not the only one.
Oh.
It was so bad. But yeah, I saw that. Horrible. I saw The Monkey.
Is that any good?
It was all right. I would so I guess on a gradient scale, so the first Companion, I would just say outright don't watch. The Monkey I think is fine. I enjoyed it. It was interesting because it's a horror comedy. It's a black comedy. And when I went to go see it, there was, I don't think anyone understood that it wasn't like a jump scare type horror movie, because it was a bunch of like, teenagers
all booing it.
No, well, actually, funny story. So like, we're watching. No movies start when they say they start anymore. You have to wait 20 minutes.
Yeah, there's the like intro to the movie to the.
Well, yeah, there. So it said it started at like 5:20.
Oh, that's what you mean. I thought you meant like opening shots and stuff like that.
No, literally, like it says it starts at 5:20, so I'm there at 5:20 because I have this internal thing where I like freak out if I'm late.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we're sitting there for like 30 minutes just watching trailers, which whatever, because sometimes like you don't know about a movie until you like are sitting there forced to watch trailers. But they're making Until Dawn a movie.
Really?
Yeah, but it doesn't follow the plot of Until Dawn. And there's a body horror scene in the trailer, and there was an old lady like a couple rows in front of me, and she just goes, "That movie is made by sick people. Who would want to watch that?" And I'm like, "Lady, what do you think you're about to watch?" Like, you're signing up for a movie like that? But yeah, no, there was a bunch of like teenagers, and like I guarantee, like they thought it was gonna be like one of those, like back in the day, it was like Paranormal Activity or like a movie like that where it's like you all get together and you go see like this creepy movie, and then it's like it's kind of a horror comedy where it's not like the body. There's a lot of scenes of like people dying that are really well executed, I guess, no pun intended. But yeah, overall it's fine. I think the only unfortunate aspect of it is it's heavily reliant on CG, and there was a lot of room for practical effects to be really well utilized, where it's really easy to tell like it's fake. Like some of the death scenes are really fake, and it kind of takes away from it. But other than that, like it's worth watching.
The reason I wasn't excited for it, and I must have read whenever I saw the poster, I must have read it wrong. But I thought it was written and directed by James Wan, who I'm not a fan of.
No, it's by
It said Osgood Perkins, and it's a Stephen King
adaptation. Yeah, which Osgood Perkins did Longlegs.
Okay, I haven't seen Longlegs yet, but I've heard great things.
It rules.
Yeah.
I saw it twice in theaters. I liked it so much, and I just bought it on Blu-ray because it's on one of the streaming services.
Yeah, I think it's Prime.
It rules. The main.
I've been meaning to watch it.
Yeah, the main character is the woman from It Follows.
Oh, Micah Monroe,
I believe. Yeah, that movie Longlegs rules. That is probably one of my favorite modern horror movies.
Okay, I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it. And but no, I said James Wan attached to it. I was like, I'm not a fan of his movies.
Because he did Insidious, right?
He did Insidious. He did all the Conjuring movies. He did Malignant. I watched Malignant, and I hated that movie.
It's the one where she has the head on the back of her head.
A parasitic twin. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I remember two people at work were talking about it whose opinions I both respect. I'll say that, and they were both like, not good.
Yeah, but he also has done like Fast and the Furious movies, and he did the one movie he did that I like was the original Saw movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The original one, in my opinion, is the only one worth watching. Everything after that's just like torture porn.
You're gonna tell me the Chris Rock Spiral movie isn't worth watching?
I don't think I saw that one.
It's the newest one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, he's a detective, isn't he?
Yeah.
Does he smack all of this?
I don't know. I didn't see it. But,
or get smacked by no,
But yeah, actually the only reason I decided to see it was because it was by Osgood Perkins, and I was like, oh, I know that name, and then I realized it was Longlegs. I was like, all right. I will say this, even though like the monkey's fine, I probably wouldn't watch it again, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm glad I saw it. He definitely has a really interesting aesthetic that applies really well, because it's very like suburban, like drab. It's like Longlegs is very like that. The monkey's really like that, where it takes place in these really suburban landscapes, but
Like kind of mundane, just like
Yeah,
regular areas.
yeah, his aesthetic and like his eye for like shots, lighting, stuff like that is really like he really thrives in that, and it'll be really interesting to see how like he can hone that into something like, I guess, somehow even more effective than like Long Legs.
Has he done anything aside from Long Legs in that?
I'm
No, I'm
sure
gonna look. The Black Coat's Daughter.
that's supposed to be really good too.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I watched that one.
I think I started it, but I didn't finish it. I don't remember
And
why.
I did like it. Oh, that is. Yeah. No, that movie's good. The movie's actually really good.
Oh, I completely misread that. His dad was Norman Bates in Psycho 2.
I was like,
They're not real.
I was like, that's not a real person.
No. But yeah, so that was pretty good. And then best movie I saw recently, I saw Mickey 17 in theaters. I want to make sure I get his name right. The Bong Joon-ho movie, his follow-up to Parasite with Robert Pattinson. I really liked it. It was really interesting.
I like most of the things I've seen that Bong Joon-ho does.
Yeah, and Robert Pattinson is kind of, I think we're both really outspoken Robert Pattinson.
Great actor.
Yeah, he's a lot of stuff that he's done.
I've loved him ever since I've seen Twilight for the first time.
As someone who just watched all of Twilight, I can say even in that he's pretty good. Especially when he definitely starts to hate being in them. But yeah, that rules. The guy from The Walking Dead, he's in it too. Steven Yeun.
Oh, Steven Yeun. Okay.
He's in it. He's pretty good.
I think he was also in Okja that Bong Joon-ho did.
That's the animated one?
No, well...
Or the kind of animated one?
It's got the Super Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
He's part of an animal liberation group in that movie. That is like kind of like the comical aspect of the movie.
Isn't Tilda Swinton in that?
Yep. Tilda Swinton, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Steven Yeun, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette. Pretty cool cast. It's an interesting enough like concept. They can print people.
Yeah.
And he
3D printed.
Yeah, and he signs up to be an expendable on like a journey to another planet. There's some really on the nose political aspects about it. Some really interesting like existential ideas and like ethical ideas about, what they're able to do. But yeah, I would say if anyone's interested in going seeing it, it's definitely worth seeing. And it's definitely worth seeing in theaters. I'll say that because it's really well shot and has a lot of really big, especially towards the end, a lot of really big scenes that were really cool to see in theaters.
Now, just out of curiosity, and if it is a spoiler for the movie, feel free to say I'm not going to tell you that. But whenever he like perishes, does he remember what the ones before him did?
When you say, I don't.
Like I'm thinking of kind of like that movie with Tom Cruise where every time he died, he kind of woke back up and.
So it's established that his mind comes back in a specific moment. Like they download his personality at a specific time. People in the movie tell him what his past, like, because he's the 17th.
But he doesn't have the memories of the 16 before him.
No.
Okay.
I think it's just from that point, because there's at one point he talks about like his love interest says like, yeah, she told me, Mickey 3 was really clingy and Mickey whatever.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's not like
it's not a spoiler or anything.
No.
It was just like wondering if it was like a roguelite life or like the roguelite games.
No, yeah, he just comes back in a specific moment, but like, yeah, some of his death scenes are pretty brutal too. But
nice.
It's definitely worth watching. It was cool, especially because Parasite was great. So I like being able to support a director who actually puts thought into the product
Yeah.
and delivers something cool. So
Maybe that's the next one I'll go see in theater. I want to go back to movie going. It's been a while since like whenever I went and saw Captain America again, I was like, man, I love coming to movies.
I don't.
I like it. It's like you said, like that movie's worth seeing in theaters because of shots, and like that to me, the movie theater experience is the way that they're supposed to be taken in.
Yeah.
When there's a bunch of people in the movie theater, it sucks.
Yeah. That's the thing is like there's nothing I fear more than having to go to the bathroom at a movie theater during a movie, cuz it's like
it's the worst.
And then I have to like get up in front of everybody and like what if I fall and all these people point and laugh at me in the middle of this Bong Joon-ho movie?
Yeah.
And then, I'll never recover from that.
That's it. Whenever I went and saw the Captain America, like they always do their like mid credit scene and then an end credit scene. So like, I'm going to wait until the mid credit. I had to go to the bathroom so bad at the end of it. I was like, I'm going to wait until the mid credit scene run. And then I came back and there wasn't an end credit scenes. I sat there. I was like, damn it.
That was like when I went and saw, I think it was when I saw Companion. The theater was not full, but there was enough people. And I snuck in a Red Bull to watch it, and I was drinking that, and it was towards the end. You could tell it was towards the end, and I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. But there was like all these people in my row, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this, and then I'm not gonna immediately come back, and then the movie end. But
when I went to see Captain America, I snuck in 3 ice cold Iron Cities.
Oh wow,
not a sponsor yet.
How did you sneak? Did you just
had a coat?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which I guess is basically what I did, even though they probably wouldn't have said anything. It was just Red Bull.
The one jacket I have, that green REI like synthetic down, I found out that I could fit a whole fifth in the pocket of that.
That's dangerous knowledge.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's about to be summer. You're not going to be able to do that.
No. Movie theaters are cold. They have to keep the film cold because it's flammable.
Do you ever think that people are going to turn you in when they hear the cans crack?
I would wait for a loud action scene.
Just okay. That was the thing. I was like, even a Red Bull, I was like, these people are going to think I'm drinking.
Yeah.
And turn me in.
It was like perfect because there was like a gap, a seat on the other side. So I was like, this is good.
Is any new music talking or?
There was one of my favorite progressive bluegrass musicians just released an album on March 7th, Sierra Hall, and I've listened to it a couple times and I really like it, but I've been really listening to like instrumental jazz fusion a lot lately. I don't know where it came from or why. I think like a lot of times it's like the fusion is like funk, and my Saturday crew at work really likes listening to like funk music, so that's what we usually play. And I kind of like, it reminds me of some of the stuff I listen to, and I've just been going off of that. And the one band primarily I listen to a lot is Snarky Puppy, which they're like a ensemble of people. But I've been putting on kind of like their radio every now and then. Like I'll pick a song and just start a song radio.
Yeah.
And there's a band that I've been really enjoying that I hear on there called Organ Freeman.
Okay.
And it's a lot of keyboard organ sounds, but they're a really cool jazz fusion band. I can't think of like my headphones broke also, my like Bluetooth ones. So like listening to music at work like isn't really a thing. Anymore. Yeah. So unless it's like in the car and I just like put that on. I have like 30 minutes to listen to stuff sometimes. So
yeah,
until I get new headphones, I haven't been listening to much or like been able to be like, I want to listen to that album.
Yeah. No, I feel that. That's tough. There's been a couple, at least noteworthy albums to come out, at least on my end of the spectrum, I guess. But like the most, I guess there's like, the things that I'm like are the most in my wheelhouse, and then there's the things that are kind of outside it. Clipping put out a new album.
I saw that. It did come up in my recommended like new listens.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's exactly what you can expect from them. Just a little more like sci-fi glitchy. The production is really, really good. That just came out. Today's Saturday, right?
Sure is.
It came out yesterday.
Yesterday.
But it's a lot of fun to listen to. And like I've been waiting. The last two albums, There Existed an Addiction to Blood and Visions of Bodies Being Burned, are some of my favorite albums. So I've been waiting for a follow-up.
I just realized I missed an opportunity for a joke where you're like, so what have you been listening to? And I could have just been like, Marvel movie soundtracks.
I am their number one customer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Whitechapel put out a new album, which was a return to form for them because they've kind of been more like since I stopped really listening to them around I think their self-titled album, they became more like singy and not just like deathcore. But this was kind of a return to form for them. It's like all right. It doesn't grab me the same way like something like This Is Exile does, but it's still cool to see them back at it. And then the two that are a little out of left field, so Russian Village Boys put out a new album, and
they're the ones that did Oktoberfest.
Yeah. And you should. I keep meaning to send you it, but they have a song called Sunrise at 6 a.m. where the chorus is, let me see if I can just make sure I'm getting the lyrics right. Yeah, so I want to drink my beer and see the sunrise at 6 a.m. with all my friends with me. And it's very funny.
Hell yeah.
And then Lady Gaga put out a really good album. I'm not a Lady Gaga fan, but it's really good.
I'm not a huge Lady Gaga fan, but I can't argue that she's not a very talented musician.
Yeah.
So
you should listen to the single Abracadabra.
Yeah.
It's really good. That's like what convinced me to give the whole album a try. That single came out, I listened to it, and I was like, from that point on, I was excited to see what the album looked like, and it's really good.
I haven't really listened to any of her like full albums since I've become a bigger fan of pop music.
Mm-hmm.
But I know like my ex used to listen to like art pop all the time as an album. I remember a lot of songs off that.
Our good friend James May is also he's Lady Gaga's strongest warrior.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's put me on to the game. But all right, well, unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Well, you already talked about what you were reading earlier, so
that was the other episode, right?
Yeah. What are you reading?
It's called Stinger by Robert McCammon, and it's a alien type thing. Alien touchdown, and then turns out there's another alien looking for that alien.
Oh, hell yeah.
So kind of holds this sleepy desert Texas town for a hostage. It's pretty good. Robert McCammon did Swan Song and Gone South, which are two books I gave perfect ratings. So I really, really like Robert McCammon as a writer, and I'm about a little more than halfway through it right now, and it's still really good. I don't know if I enjoy it more than the other two books I've read by him, but it's better than most things you could get in that genre otherwise.
I brought it up so I could say I've been reading Marvel comics. No, just kidding. I have been, but I was in the middle of two novels, and I'd like made some good progress on them, and then it started getting nicer out. Like I was going out to my car and reading at lunch and breaks, which is primarily whenever I did a lot of my reading. Mm-hmm. But then it was getting nicer out. I've been kind of walking on our second break at least, and I want to get back to doing my intermittent fasting that I used to do, so I might just force myself to sit in the car on nice days and read. At least I'll be outside still.
You just, as you finish a page, just eat the page.
Yeah.
You can meld those two worlds together, yeah. Or you can
never reread a book.
Well, you can eat, but it's only as many pages as you read.
And then it's also like, if I finish this side, I can't read the next side.
Well, you have to finish a full page. You don't read half a page and rip it out.
But anyhow, the two books I've been reading was the Lola Quartet, which is
Your saint.
Emily St. John Mandel, and very very interesting actually. It's another mystery noir book about you didn't read Station 11, right? No,
I haven't
okay.
read anything by her.
She does a good job of jumping around to different characters throughout the books and then bringing all their stories together. Like
a Pulp Fiction.
yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. But the main theme in this is that the first character you're introduced to is getting fired from his job for plagiarizing as a reporter or like writer for a paper in New York. Moves back home to find that his sister like shows him a picture of this girl that looks exactly like his sister did when she was young, and it was a girl that was a fostered like kid. So his girlfriend, you find out, disappeared way whenever they were younger, and he thinks she may have been pregnant whenever she disappeared. So he's trying to track down this girl because he thinks it's his daughter. You cut to some other characters, the girl that was his ex-girlfriend, a couple people that have interacted with her after she went missing as a teen, and it's just like the story's really building as it goes too. Where like at first you're like you're only going to get it from his perspective, and then you start learning these other characters a lot.
Yeah,
and really fleshing out the story. It's interesting.
Sounds cool. Yeah, I haven't read anything by her yet. I'm trying to like. I don't know if this year's my sci-fi year, but I've been really. I think I started reading Stinger, and I got more. Like in my head, I was like, I'm gonna read alien books this year, and then I haven't finished Stinger. So, and I'm such a mood reader. I don't know what I'm gonna want to read after I'm done with this.
If you're like sci-fi, if you're only looking for alien, and this doesn't fit, but when you said sci-fi, a recommendation I have is Leviathan Wakes, which is it's a series. Yeah, you don't like series.
I
huh?
don't.
No, that's
Not
right.
typically.
Yeah,
They're just like I like.
I remembered that after I was recommending it.
Yeah, which I mean, it's one of those things. I like a sprawling story, but it's preferable for it to be contained. Like even like, Swan Song is like 1,000 pages. The Stand's 1,000 pages. My favorite book, East of Eden, is like 700. Like I'm fine with a long narrative, but I usually prefer it to be contained because it's just a lot. Especially like it's hard to read a book and then be like, I don't really feel like reading this narrative right now.
Second book right away.
Yeah, and then coming back to it where it's like, okay, how can I remember what's going on?
One of the reasons I like it a lot is because it's very believable sci-fi. It like I could see it being the future of our solar system at some point. Like they don't have faster than light travel, but they developed an engine that they experience way more G forces than people should be able to. So they make like crash couches, they call them, where they're like gel like seating to sit in, so that whenever they're getting pushed back, it doesn't splatter them.
Yeah.
But they also have to like inject themselves with adrenaline and drugs while they're like traveling at that speed, so that they don't like their blood vessels don't burst and everything.
Yeah.
They're like it's like this like cool like world and universe that's created where it's just like I could see that being the way that space travel works for us, where it's like it still takes months to get to Jupiter, but
there was I bought a book recently. It's kind of a like believable science type thing. I want to make sure I call it the right thing.
That was the other book I'm halfway through is the third one in the Expanse series called Abaddon's Gate.
Is the Expanse? That's
the series
okay. It's by okay, all right, it's just called Earth by David Brin, who wrote The Postman, but it's about
The Postman. Is that the one that is a book based? There's a
The
movie
movie is
based.
based,
Okay.
yeah. Where it's basically a lot of people say it's the Postman something like it's one of the books that's as close to like a Fallout video game type book. But Earth is it's a book about like I think a black hole. I just read the cover because I don't like to approach media knowing anything about it, but they like create a black hole, and I think it's just like a doomsday situation where it's like, okay, well, now what do we do? And I just thought that was interesting because it's supposed to be like different takes on if something like that were to happen, not like nonfiction,
Yeah.
but like different character perspectives on like you have a scientist, you have like I think like religious figures, so it's like, okay, well, what do we do now? And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting.
That's one of the things I also the current book in the Expanse series that I'm reading has kind of like things like that too, because the first book is like only told from the perspective of two different people. Like each chapter is a different person, and realistically, I think it makes it easy when they're writing the book because it's not just one person writing the book; it's two authors writing under one pseudonym. And I think they split up characters in writing the story with an overarching like this is the plot. But in the third book, one of the characters, her name's Anna, and she's a pastor for like Pastor Anna, some Christian denomination, but like she's out sent to this thing where there is weird stuff going on that might be aliens, but so it's like, okay, now understanding that this is maybe an extraterrestrial thing, like we want to hear the church's thoughts. So she's like a representative from the church, like looking into it too. Like it's cool, like to have those aspects of it in that as well.
Yeah, I always think that's fun. Is like the more like having aliens as a plot point or having some like whatever the plot point is, but then like dive into like the implications of even the idea and like how that's really something. Like I don't think you've seen it, but Shin Godzilla.
I started to watch it. I have this problem where I always put movies on like late at night and then I fall asleep. Yeah.
Shin Godzilla does it really well where it's a Godzilla movie, but it doesn't really matter that it's a Godzilla movie. It's all about like how the media, the government, and like the people react to a Godzilla event occurring. And it's just like really like I really don't care about Godzilla as like a franchise. Like the American movies suck. They're horrible.
You mean the 2000s Godzilla with Matthew Broderick isn't a masterpiece?
I haven't seen that. Well, I guess I saw that when I was a little.
Godzilla has baby Godzillas.
Yeah, no, the one with Bryan Cranston for like 5 minutes. That was horrible. And then King of the Monsters with
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Is that one? No, that was the one with Bryan Cranston in it also. The first Godzilla.
That one sucked. And then the one with Millie Bobby Brown, that was horrible. But yeah, it was really cool because it's more about like how is the government gonna deal with this and like how do the people like understand it. It was really cool. So like that idea is always fun.
I did see a clip on YouTube, and it was I forget even why I clicked on it. The thumbnail caught my attention, but it was like wrestling moves used in film, and the Godzilla versus King Kong one. Pretty sure it's probably the wrong move I'm saying, but Godzilla does a German suplex to King Kong.
Okay.
I think it's the one where they like heads side by side, then you pick them up and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, isn't there that one where like he like pile drives, like Godzilla pile drives one of the monsters or something?
I think so.
I don't know. That's such a conceptually it's really funny. Well, conceptually it's really cool because like it's supposed to be in reaction to, you know, nuclear war and everything that Japan dealt with after World War II. So like conceptually it's really interesting. And then I feel like, you know, America obviously kind of ruined that.
Yeah.
And they took it back. That was part of why Shin Godzilla was made.
The design of Godzilla in that movie is fucking awesome. Yeah. Like I did see the attack on the air base.
Yeah, and it like evolves throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it changes throughout the movie, and it's really interesting. Yeah, it's pretty graphic. Like, it's pretty weird too, because they have like, it comes from the sea and it has like gills that are like bleeding, and it's really
Maybe I'll watch that tonight before like 9 o'clock so that I can stay awake for it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to read.
Yeah,
but
I'll put on dub. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't. But, all right. Well, I think that's. I think we're good.
Dunzo.
Yeah.
Elf Finn.
It's been real. It's been fun.